What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Fishy Hour Show. Brian, you're on. We're debuting our split screen right off the bat. Sorry. I didn't tell
production
Brian.
value is going up and up.
Woo! Welcome, everybody. Hope you guys are having a good Wednesday. Wednesday already. Wow. Halfway through hump day.
Did you put me on live while I was adjusting the guns? Is that what you did?
You're like,
what?
Oh. This is Brian. Right? This is Brian. I
was pulling an Uncle Rico, dude, like this.
He's all, yeah. Still got it.
Give me a warning.
Sorry.
I could have been naked over here.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. What's up, everybody?
What's up?
Let's see some chats real quick. Okay. Wow. There we go. All right. So welcome. It's Wednesday. It's bait fishing with Roman and Brian. Hope everybody's having a Cobra Kai shirt, Brian. Yeah, Salty detected that right away. Okay. Real quick. So, do you want to go through the agenda? Do we call it an agenda? Or
sure.
Yeah.
So tonight, always open with drinks, and we've got some announcements to make. We're going to discuss our Kid Castro tournament, which is this weekend, and we've got a special guest tonight. Me and Roman haven't, at least I haven't done this yet. We're bringing in a guest later. We're bringing in the famous Captain Dan, and he's going to discuss CCA tournament, which is not this weekend, but next week on the 21st. So the famous Captain Dan will be joining us later. And then we're going to talk about targeting maybe some fish in the bay, we're talking long fish, and some crankbait tips. If you hang in at the end, we're going to talk about some crankbait tips.
there you go.
And of course, always movie suggestion. So hang in there for that too.
The highlight. Very cool. Very cool. All right. So let's see. I am excited that the transition kind of worked out. All the extra 30 minutes. I hope you guys, I want to encourage everybody to please take a minute or two, do me a big favor, and help us grow this show. So I'm going to ask you to invite one person. It doesn't have to be right now. It could be later on in the show if you want, whenever you get around to it. But invite one person. Try to do it this week. If not today, if not now. Because they're really trying to push this channel to 1,000 subscribers. If we can get to 1,000 subscribers, it really unlocks a lot of stuff for the channel. And I really, after looking at some of the stuff that's happening on Twitch, the whole point for us to be on Twitch was so that we could broadcast from the kayak. But if we could get this channel to 1,000 subscribers, then I could broadcast from the kayak to this channel. And that way you guys have one place to go to. Don't have to jump back and forth. It just makes it a lot easier for everybody. And yeah, I think I actually might prefer being on YouTube. It's a more stable platform, it seems. So anyway, that's a quick reminder. So do me a favor, I'll put that in the chat actually. If you're ever confused as to how to share this, if you don't know what to do, like, I don't know how to do it, just do ! FH share in the chat at any time, and that's going to give you a link and some text that you can copy and paste into a text file, into a text message, or into a post on any one of your social medias, or just a direct message. Come watch Fish Hour with me right now, ... and then it gives you the link, fishhour.com/live. That's going to take them to this show that's happening right now. If you do this while the show is not running, it'll still take them to the Fishy Hour YouTube page, which is where you're watching this show, and then they can subscribe. So that's what we're doing. That's the way we're trying to promote the show. And again, as the show grows, it allows for us to do better production value, as you can see here with these little slides. I did all this stuff on Photoshop on my own, but like there's other software that I'm looking at that would make the stream a lot better. So anyway, every little bit helps, and even if you just help share the show, that's big enough of a help. Okay, so if we get everybody to share the show, at least bring one friend, bring a friend day. So bring a friend day. Monday's gonna be bring a friend day. So let's do bring a friend day on Wednesdays, because we have a more prepared show with Brian able to help. So bring a friend on a Wednesday, and then that'll help us grow the show, grow our tournaments, grow our whole community. Okay, cool. All right, sorry about that. Let's
Yeah,
keep it
and
rolling.
if your wife has a YouTube account, your kids have a YouTube account, go on their accounts and subscribe us. Get everybody in your family, at least your immediate household family, to subscribe. Give us a little boost here, guys. We're trying to get to 1,000, please.
Yeah, trying to get to that 1,000, guys. Very cool. All right, so quick. Do you want to do pop top? Pop top.
You know it.
You know what? I'm gonna do a whole different screen for pop top. I'm gonna go crazy.
What?
Not now, but later.
Right.
It's in the works. But for now, we're ready. I'm ready.
Okay.
Go for it.
Do you want to explain the rules?
Sorry.
Go?
So if you're new to the show, in case you don't know, we started this whole show. It was called Happy Hour at one point, and I used to drink still non-carbonated drink, non-alcoholic soda, non-alcoholic drinks, but pop top, right? And the rules are listen for the pop top, and you're gonna rate the pop top, 10 being the best pop top you ever heard, 1 being the worst. So here we go. Brian's gonna go first.
So I went to the store and I got this. Guess what I'm drinking?
Oh,
the Zevia.
Is that the cream
Just
soda?
so I have the same can as you now. So
is that the
it's
cream
the
soda?
exact same can. It is the cream soda.
Nice.
So now I went to the hard stuff, the Zevia.
Dang. That's good. Very good.
That's my San Diego Zoo cup. I brought my San Diego Zoo cup out because I missed that place. I can't wait till we're back to normal and go back to those kind of places.
Angela
Hey.
Riggs, welcome to the show.
What?
Oh,
Come on, Zach.
Zach invited his wife. Yes.
Is this mic working? Am I on the right mic?
Very nice. Oh, Doug gave you 3. Ouch. Ouch. Lacks the fizz.
Whoa.
Maybe it is these drinks. No fizz. No fizz, says Dr. Drone.
Back to the
Angela, welcome
Canada
to the show
Dry.
anyway. Thanks for inviting your wife, Zach. Woo! Thanks for the sub. We're growing. Yay! Very cool. Very cool.
All right, I see some 10s, some 9s. Awesome.
Here we go. I'm going to pop my top real quick. I don't know what to think about that.
Sounded good to me.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
No super mic tonight? You didn't have the super mic revved up?
Mic. I think I left it on one of the previous shows and it just like drained the battery.
Oh.
So I have to put new batteries in it.
Dang, you got to charge that thing. Hey, all right, everybody, cheers.
Cheers,
Hopefully
everybody.
you're enjoying it.
Sponsored. Hashtag not sponsored.
That's pretty good. That almost tastes like soda, kind of.
Yeah, almost right. It's overly. It's almost like overly sweet because of the stevia, but
Yeah, it kind of has a little aftertaste to it, a little zing there.
yeah.
But yeah, it's all right.
Is it cold?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, good. Yeah, I gotta have it cold. Cool. All right.
I think I drink anything warm. So, okay, let's go right to announcements. It's Veterans Day, Roman. As you can see, I'm proudly presenting my flag back here.
Very good.
Veterans Day.
Very nice. Very nice.
So happy Veterans Day, everybody.
Happy Veterans Day, everybody. And we wanted to do a little extra special thanks to you guys that are actually have served, whether active or retired or even thinking about doing it. If you're enlisted and you're just waiting to go. Also, you're just a big shout out, big thank you to you and your families, and we know and appreciate the big sacrifice that it is to go on deployment and sometimes leave kids behind, right? And a wife and have to miss in those like special moments. You know, I couldn't imagine what it would be like for my kids to grow up and miss all the little things that I sometimes take for granted. So I know it's a big, huge sacrifice, and I just want to make sure that we have at least a couple minutes to thank you and really let you know that we appreciate your sacrifice, and we want to honor that today. So if you're active service or you're retired, please let us know in the chat, and just want to say thank you to everybody, and everybody just be grateful that these veterans have made that sacrifice. So.
Yeah,
Do you want to add, Brian?
Thanks for saying that, Roman. That's awesome. I'd also like to thank the veterans. And if you are currently military or ex-military, please in the chat put in veteran and put in the branch, and we'd like to give you a shout out right now. And thank you for. I know everybody says this, but thank you for your service.
Yep.
We really do appreciate that. And today's your day.
Very
Hopefully, if you're a veteran, you got the day off from work, or
Exactly.
you got to do something fun. Get out there and hopefully do something outdoors. So
Having a nice cold
happy
one.
Veterans Day, all.
Yeah, happy veteran. Happy veteran.
Yeah. Barbecue, whatever. Hopefully, or even better, if you went fishing. Hey,
Yeah, exactly.
what could be better than that, right? And
Very cool.
it was a pretty nice day out today. It was a little chilly, but sun was out.
Yeah, we do. We do like a little quick mini report. I know Cal's a veteran, so Cal, thank you for your service. And I think he actually still works at the military base too. But Cal was out fishing with us last night. I think he had a day off, so he was able to stay out late. It wasn't a school night for him, and he did pretty well. So I'm happy he and we also went out with Leonard and Salty. Salty got a crazy nice sand bass. I think he posted it in Discord, also on his Instagram. So go check that out, guys.
Salty, if you want to share, what did you catch your sand bass on? Share that with us. I'd love to know.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Awesome. So, hey, Cal, thanks for your service. Hey, yeah, I know he works at the military base because when we were fishing over there, I think he's branches the Navy.
Yeah.
He said, "Hey, I work in that area right over there. We literally work right there."
Is it like shore fishing while we're out there fishing the other day? That's funny. Forgot to call my. Worf says forgot to call my dad. Be back in a few. Vietnam wasn't pleasant. Oh, that's interesting. So your dad was a vet from Vietnam. That's crazy. Cool. Let's see. All right. Yeah. So Zach's saying that sand bass. Oh, so some people saw it. Cool. Awesome. Is there anything else we need to do in announcements or just?
I think our announcements are pretty brief tonight. World record update. I don't have one right now. Still haven't heard from Nick. So as soon as I get some more information about that, I'll be sharing the world record update. We're trying to get a line category for the spotted bay bass. So no updates this week. Hopefully next week, if I keep calling, and sooner or later he's got to call me back, right? So I don't know, maybe.
Very cool.
Maybe it's slowed down.
Right. Shout out to Salty. Thanks for sharing that, dude. So Salty said he caught his sand bass on 1 ounce cool baits underspin, black top, black top, silver belly with a gold blade, and on a 4.8 Kitech, green top, silver belly. That's like super detailed. If the only thing else he could give you is the exact location, but he pretty much gave you the whole thing there. Okay. So Salty, I appreciate you sharing that. You didn't have to, but the community definitely appreciates that. So yeah, Basszilla says Zach.
That's a good sand bass, dude. Almost 4, man, just shy of 4 pounds, dude. 3.99. You could have soaked that thing in the water for like a second and made it 4 pounds.
So just stuck that 4.8 Kitech in his mouth. just a plastic. That's so funny.
So yeah, 1 ounce cool bait, that'll do it. I'm sure he was down on the bottom.
Yes.
Kind of probably drifting with the tide. That's an excellent lure for those in that deep water. You're going to need that extra weight. So okay, let's move on.
Funny. Hold on. I got a question. It was weird because like there was like a charter boat that was like coming to the I'll skip that story, but somebody said you need to throw that back. So yeah, Salty obviously released it, guys. We fish catch and release, so that's like you don't need to share that in this community. We're pretty much catch and release, catch photo release here, and it was funny because somebody yelled at Salty while he was on the water. He's like, "What?" Somebody's like, "You better let that go." I was like, "What?" Dude, it's like, mind your business. Anyway, so it was just like funny, and then the other thing was, so we're fishing a deep area, and there's a little bit of current, not too much current, but there was some current, since it was such a deep drop, at least over 30 feet, Cal was fishing a 3/8, and he was fishing a 3/8. He was fishing a 3/8, and I was like, Cal, what weight are you fishing? And he's like, oh, 3/8. And I was like, oh, okay, well, try like a 1 ounce at least. If you have a 2 ounce, that would be fine too. On his next drop, on the 1 ounce, he got his first fish he broke it. He like beat the skunk basically. So
nice.
A little detail like that. If you don't feel ground contact, guys, if you don't feel the little nicks and the bumps, you're probably not on the bottom, and that's where these fish are. So
Yeah, with the 3/8, your line is probably holding it up mid water column, and you're probably reeling it in, but it's not even on the bottom. It's probably like 10 feet or 15 feet off the bottom. Just kind of not saying you're not going to get bit, because sometimes things will come up and grab it, but your odds are best if you're down on that bottom. So yeah, heavier weight. That's where you want to be.
Cal, you just missed the veterans shout out, and we know you're a veteran, so thank you for your service. And I just wanted to make sure that everybody kind of said thank you. You missed a bunch of thank you, so we thought you were already in here. So that's what you missed. you missed your 2 minutes of fame.
Yeah, Cal, we just talked about you. You missed it.
Yeah, see, Cal says I was skunking until I went heavy. Yep, pretty cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep.
Okay. Cool. So we guys, we are going to talk tonight. We're going to talk about the Saturday. We're going to give you guys the launch site and where we're fishing from. And we're also going to talk to Captain Dan about the CCA the weekend after this weekend. Okay.
Yeah. So let's talk about this weekend, this Saturday, okay. 7 a.m. San Diego Bay is the location. I think that's what we decided on, right?
Yep.
We are having our second Kids Caster tournament, and if this is your first time watching the show, this is our Kid Caster polls. This is what you need to enter this event. I know it seems kind of silly, but we did this a couple months ago, and it was actually a lot of fun. And I think most everybody has bought one of these now. So what we do is we show up. We'll determine a time, I guess. Here, we'll talk about that in a minute. But we show up, we fish we bring our regular gear, and we fish with that. And at some period in the time, our fishing time, we're going to designate a 2-hour period, and we're only going to fish with these, which is a Kid Caster pole. And you can use any line, any lure. And so we're calling this our Kids Caster tournament. Very cool. And I guess we've kind of talked about the rules a lot. If you don't know the rules, they're on Discord. The MMFC Discord will describe the rules to you. But I think today what we want to talk about is the time, place, and maybe where, because I think San Diego Bay is our best bet. And we'll go over that why later, because we're going to do some stuff there after the tournament too.
That's right.
But I think maybe I checked the tide already, Roman, and it's actually a huge tide swing, guys. It's like an 8-foot tide swing. Yeah, there it is. And if you've been to Magic Mountain and you've been on a roller coaster, that's what it looks like, dude. Let me put it this way: 8-foot tide swing. It's going to be rushing out of there, and we're going to see eelgrass rushing through the water, all kinds of stuff rushing through the water. So it's probably going to be a pretty tough day. All that eelgrass is going to lay down. Not saying that we won't catch a lot of fish. Sometimes we just do. But I think the time window, Roman, isn't it from 9 a.m. till about noon? It's like the whole tide's in it all the way out, right?
Yeah, I would rather catch it as it starts to gain momentum before it's like full throttle. So like I'm thinking like right around, we start like right around 9. Like start.
That's good too, because if it's foggy, excuse me.
Like start actually fishing at 9, and then run it for 2 hours, right? 10, 11.
2 hours, yeah.
Yeah, that puts us right in the middle of the drop at 11. That's good. Yeah, that's good. So basically from past the peak to the middle of the drop. So from 9 to 11. Or if you wanted to fish more.
9 a.m. to 11, guys. That sounds good.
That's probably going to work. And that way you have enough time to get out to your spot. What's up, Aaron? Welcome. Tyler. That way we have enough time to get to the spots, wherever you want to fish, and fish for a little bit.
Yeah.
Right. And then before
we have some stragglers too that show up a little late.
Yep.
So gives us some time to set up. Maybe even if you just bought your Kid Caster pole, give you a few casts to kind of dial it in a little bit. Try it out.
But be cautious. Don't break it before it starts. Don't break your Kid Caster before the thing starts.
Yes, and I remember the last event. I was practicing my Kid Caster pole, and I caught a halibut right before the tournament started. It was so weird on that thing, but. And then the whole rest of the tournament, I didn't catch anything like that. But it was like pre-tournament. But yeah, it gives us time to dial it in, set our location. So okay, let's talk about where we're going to launch from.
Yeah. So we're doing it in San Diego Bay, and I want to do the boat ramp because it's I know there's a little sandy beach next to the boat ramp at Shelter Island, but depending on the wakes, it could get pretty weird, like launching, because there's no protection from the wakes. So we're gonna launch in the boat ramp. If you want to launch at that beach, that's fine. But that's around where we're gonna park. So there's plenty of parking around there. There's parking in front of that little beach next to the boat ramp, and it's also parking along the rocks on the opposite side of the boat ramp. Just don't park in any of the long parking slots because that's reserved for boats, so probably for cars with trailers. If you park there, you get a ticket. There's a bunch of spots you can park in without a trailer. So there's plenty of parking for us and easy in and out, and you don't have to get a bunch of sand on your kayak and wheels. It's just a nicer setup.
Yeah,
I know.
And there's plenty of areas to fish right there. You could go over to the restaurant or the rocks. So there's plenty of areas over there to fish. So you guys can choose your spot, and that'll give you time to set up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, choose your adventure.
So for our tournament, it's only going to be spotted baby bass, right?
Right. So we've got 3 categories, which is the longest in length. So come 3 combined fish, and there's a first, second, third place in that category. So you're going to post your picture of your 3 longest fish, and those combined lengths will give you your total score. And then we have heaviest fish, which I guess we could talk about this at this point.
Yep.
Which, if you want to enter this category, I keep mentioning these, but you got to go out and get yourself a scale. So most of you guys, or a lot of you guys, have already bought a scale. But to enter this, you need to have a scale, and you're going to take a picture of your fish on the scale. So let me give you an example here. So say this is your fish. They're going to include, pretend I'm taking a picture here. You're going to have to make sure that the picture is going to show the weight and also show the fish hooked up to the scale. Get the whole fish in it, that would be great. But if you can't hold it that far back, as long as we can clearly see the weight, we'd prefer to see the whole fish, but that's basically how you're going to take a picture of your fish. And if you don't have one of these sweet clips like me and Roman have, one of these little quick clips, most of them have like a hook.
Yeah.
And if you've never weighed a fish before, you actually set this kind of right behind the jaw. Try not to get it in the gills, but like right in the top of the gill, right behind the jaw. So just imagine this hook coming out of its mouth, like through its gill, like out.
I'm gonna pretend like this is
maybe you could describe that.
Okay,
better.
so this is the fish's face right here, right? And then my hand is a gill plate. Okay, you want to put that hook right here. These are its gills. You don't want to say, okay, so these fingers are the gill plate, and this are his gills that it's covering with his gill plate. You want to put that hook in between its actual gill plate and the gill. You don't want to put that hook on the actual gills, okay? Because that's gonna damage it. That's like how it breathes, right? So you can put that right up against the gill plate on the outside, and it'll come up and it'll be like right there, basically, like that way.
Yeah, like as close to the jawbone as you can get, basically, right underneath that. Yeah. And that's how you're gonna weigh your fish, guys. So make sure you get that weight clearly on there, and if you can, the whole fish in the photo, and that would be awesome for that category. And the last category, I don't know if we've renamed this as Salty Dangler's premier category, but the biggest other fish, which can be any fish in the bay, total overall length, not weight. So it'd be any fish in the bay, overall length.
That makes sense. Yep, exactly. Zach's got a good question. He says, do you measure the length of the weight? So do you measure the length or the weight first? I would recommend you measure the weight first, because the longer that fish is out of the water, the more water is going to come out of it, and you're going to get a lighter, more dehydrated fish, I guess. I don't know. Just the water dripping on it is going to count for something.
It seems like you get them out and they're wild and crazy. Yeah. So while you're weighing it, getting your weight, it might calm down a little bit so that you can actually put it on your scale. And a little hint, sometimes they come out and the first thing they do is poof those gills out and they get big and puffy.
Yep.
And that can actually shorten that fish, maybe like a 1/4 inch. So once they relax a little bit, you might want to measure it then when they're nice and relaxed, because you might get that extra 1/4 inch too. So let them relax. I know it's sometimes in a kayak, it's hard to get that thing in the picture, then get it on your lap and take a picture, but let that fish relax and try to get a good picture.
I think for us guys, I know all of you. I think pretty much. Yeah, I think I know all of you guys, like in real life. So, and the guys that are gonna show up anyway. It seems like most of the guys that show up we fished with before. I like to think that our community is like a bunch of honorable, trustworthy people. So, I don't necessarily care if you have the tail of the fish cut off in the picture. Just try to get a good picture of the weight and just like part of the fish's face hanging on that hook, just so we know which fish it was. Just so we have a picture of a fish on a scale, right? If you wanted to be like super picky and get the whole fish in the shot, the way you would do that is it's like this, and instead of holding your phone next to it to take a picture, you hold it at an angle down, and you get the scale up here, which will look really big.
Oh, great idea.
You get the rest of the fish, but the fish will taper off. It'll look smaller, right? But that's the way you get the whole fish in the shot, if you wanted to get the whole fish in the shot. But for us, there's plenty of stuff for you guys to deal with already on the kayak, and on top of that, you still got to measure it. So just get a picture of the scale and the fish's face at the bottom somewhere. Yeah.
Yep.
And then, in case you missed it last week or yesterday, when I'm not sure when I said this, but maybe Monday. In case you missed that, your iPhone, when it's in camera mode, will take a picture by you pressing any of the volume buttons. There we go.
Oh, cool. I did not know that.
Yeah. So you don't have to actually tap it here. Like when you hold it up here, you're trying to figure out like, oh, is my finger on it? And then just put your finger on the volume button and press it, and you just take a picture.
For me, it's a wet finger. It never works because I'm like hitting it and my finger's wet.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. That's true.
Oh, that's a great tip.
Cool. Let's see. Some good comments coming through. Cal says, never launched from there until last night. Easy launch and close to the bait barge and Zuniga. Yep. Yeah, it's like a good in-between spot. And if we come out of that launch and go left, we can go to like Bahia. Sorry, not Bahia. To Valley High and that whole area. It's like that kind of opens it up for us to really have options, right? Because we're all launching kind of from the same spot. If you go right or left, you're gonna get to that fishing zone at about the same time because it's about the same distance.
Choose your path.
Choose your own adventure.
You're gonna go right or left. Right. Hey, or you could go straight out. There's something. There might be something straight out.
Yep. Cool. Let's see. Hyder, what up? Hyder says, speaking of which, my phone's camera is demonstrably broken, making blurry pics. Oh, I'll try to use a front-facing camera. Does it have different angles? You could do the back camera or the front camera. Maybe you do the front camera like a selfie. That helps.
For my camera, when I'm holding it, if it looks blurry, I can tap the screen of whatever I'm trying to take a picture of, and it automatically focuses on that object. So if you got your fish in the picture, my camera, I touch the screen and it focuses right on that point. So depending on what kind of camera you have.
That makes sense.
Or my phone, I should say. Nobody has a camera anymore.
Cool. Okay. Is that everything we need to cover on this our tournament for Saturday? If anybody has any questions, please throw in the chat now. So because if you have any doubts, if you have any questions, it's very likely that somebody else has the same question, but they just don't want to ask it. So feel free to ask.
Yeah.
It's gonna help everybody else too.
And I'll just show you what a bump board looks like. Okay. This is a measuring device. If you're asking what we're taking a picture of,
I'm gonna put you full screen.
This is the hog trough.
I'm gonna put you full screen, Brian. Give me a second.
Sure.
All right, go for it.
So this is a measuring device. Most of you guys, just in case there's somebody new to this is their first show, measuring device. This is the bump stop where you're going to have your fish, the mouth closed, placed directly against this end, and take a picture with it, lay down flat, so we can visibly see within a 1/4 inch of what your fish is. Actually, we go to the 1/8 inch on this. And if you don't have one of these, they also make other styles. Like I have this one too. Same thing. It's got the bump stop. And it's got all the measurements on there. Both these styles will work. This one's just a little easier to get pictures on, but this one's a little more compact. So that's all you need. Something like that. Anything with a bump stop that you can take a picture on.
Okay, very cool. Good questions coming through, guys. Very good. So Zach says, can we use how many kid casters can we use? Is it just one at a time, or can we use multiple kid casters at the same time?
See, let me answer that with I have two. So
yeah, but can you fish them at the same time?
I have no problem. Like this, or like one in the water.
Yep.
That doesn't bother me. If you can wield two of these, go for it.
Okay. Can
but,
I? What if I? What
we're
if I
artificial lures only. So artificial lures only. You're not going to be soaking a bait while fishing a lure.
What if
so
I wield,
it's artificial lures.
What if I want to wield 3?
Go for it.
What
Let's see.
4?
Are you gonna be trolling three princess poles?
What about 5? Now, is there a limit?
I don't know. I mean, really, is anybody gonna have 5 princess poles?
Yeah, but
all right. You want to set a limit now? How about we set a limit? Has anybody bought more than 2?
How about
because 2 seems like a pretty good number.
2's a good number, but I'm thinking like, should you use one at a time? Like, I get that you want to have different setups.
Yeah. Well, like mine, I always have one setup and then I have a different bait.
Yeah.
So I like the last tournament, I had these 2 poles, and I've got a 1/2 ounce and I've got a 3/8, and I'm throwing both those things. So I like to have them both set up, ready to go.
Yep.
So I fish with 2.
Yep.
I see that Zach says he's got 3. You know, to be honest, Roman, I don't have a problem with 3. Let's set it at 3. Does that sound good?
Yeah, but at the same time in the water. See, like Salty says, 1 at a time in the water.
I don't know how you would possibly fish 2 at a time, right? Unless you're trolling.
I could fish I could fish like 10 Ned rigs at once.
That's right. I don't fish the Ned rig. So. Okay, let's say 1 pole in the water at a time. But how about 20, as many as you want, but only fish 1 at a time?
Yeah, you can have like 20. If you have 20 kid caster rods rigged up and ready to fish on your kayak, it's good for you.
Go for it.
I want to take a picture of that. Okay. It's gonna be awesome. Set it up on the.
Thanks, Zach.
Set it up behind your chair so it looks like Game of Thrones.
Yes, I would love to see that too.
So.
one of them in the water at a time, but as many as you want.
The caster throne.
That's a great question. I would have never thought of fishing like 3 or 4 or 5 kid casters.
Yeah, Captain Dan and Hyder have questions about the California law. You don't need a multiple rod license for salt water. You can fish as many as you can manage.
Handle.
Yeah. So if it looks like you're doing what you're doing with 20 rods, then you can't handle that. But if you can successfully manage and handle 5 lines out, good for you. Nobody's gonna bother you. Okay. Cool. All right. So that clears it up. Good.
That to me would be a handful. Trying to handle 5 kid caster poles because they'd all be at the same height. They'd all be the lines would all be next to each other because they're only like 2 feet long. That'd be crazy.
Arnie's got a good question. He says, "What about using mighty mites? What is that? Is that live bait?"
No, that's like a spinning reel on a little rod.
No.
Just to make it like an even playing field.
Yep.
We've gone to this setup just because this is so common. You can get it like in any bait shop. And the Mighty Mites is basically a very small setup with a spinning rod or spinning reel on it. Sorry.
Yeah, that's like a very nice one. It's a lot. You'll be at an advantage with that setup.
Yeah, we're trying to keep it as a fun event, and everybody's on equal playing field using this thing, which is out basically not what we normally fish. We don't usually fish with one of these button reels. I even forgot what this is called, spin caster or something like that. But we don't usually fish with this, so we're trying to make it fun and something we don't normally do.
So a dock demon, that's also not approved, right?
Same thing. Dock demon is a small pole. It's the same size pole, but it's a spinning reel. It's like a real spinning reel on it. And those are cheap. They're like $20 still, but.
And this is like a 2-minute warning for Captain Dan. You'll be getting queued up soon. I'll be calling Captain Dan soon. So when we're done talking about our event, we're gonna talk about the CCA event coming up the weekend after this weekend. So let's see the exact date. It's gonna be what? It's gonna be the 21st. Okay. So we'll be talking about that in a bit. So everybody's okay with this one? We got all the questions answered. We can move on. Is there anything else we need to do before?
No, we know the day, we know the time of the tournament. There's going to be, at the very conclusion of it, go ahead.
Yeah, hold that thought. If you want, the way you would sign up is you go to our Discord server. If you don't know where our Discord server is, I'm gonna ask this little Nightbot to let you know. It's going to post up a link that says romancastro.com/MMFC. Click on that link. That's going to take you to the invite page for our Discord server. And you sign up there. You sign up to become part of our Discord server. And in there, you'll find the Bay Wars section. And in the Bay Wars section, there's another section called, what is it? Tournament signups or something like that? You bring it up. Do you even have it up?
I think so. Yeah, and you click on, I think, bit if you're going, and something else if you're.
It's called event signups. It's called event signups, and yeah, it's got the rules. November Kidcaster Derby. It's got the rules. It's got the photo rule submission, the catch submission, and how do you submit that stuff, and then the categories. And let's see, there's 15 people signed up right now. 5 people can't make it. 2 people might also join us. So yeah, it's gonna be a good turnout already. So. Good to know. And then Leonard and got us Leonard. I don't know if Leonard picked it up or if he knows somebody at Squidco, but Squidco, we have a $25 gift card to Squidco. And we also have the re-donated one that I won last Derby, the $50 gift card to Amazon from Eric. So I won that first place last time, but I'm going to resubmit it for first place on this tournament. So we have a first place $50 gift card to Amazon and a $25 gift card to Squidco, thanks to Leonard. And then I think Cool Baits is also going to do some stuff, right?
Absolutely. Cool Baits always donates to our derbies.
Very cool. Can you kid cast from shore, says Aaron. I don't see why not.
Yeah, heck yeah. Sign up, Eric. So this is a free derby. It's just for fun, basically. It's through Fishy Hour and MMFC. It's just a fun way to get together and have a fun event. Yep. It's free. And at the conclusion, on the water, we kind of circle around in a big area, and the awards are handed out right on the water, right at the conclusion.
Very cool. Yep. So we'll have to figure out a way to, if you're not on the water, I know if you're not on the water, we'll have to figure out a way to get you the award if you win something. So, yep. I just don't want to be promoting any kind of just fish where you're allowed to fish. Okay. I don't want you to get in trouble trying to get into somewhere where you're not allowed to fish to win. So we don't want to promote any kind of like dock raiding if it's gonna get you in trouble. Okay. So just be aware of that. Let's see. Other than that. Yeah, you're welcome to participate, dude. I think you're already on our Discord server. So just when the time comes, you can jump on the audio of it, so we can kind of interact with us while we're fishing, and get to know and hear what's happening when the competition actually starts. And then when you go to submit your stuff, you go to the next text channel down, which is derbies, and that's where you submit the picture of your fish. And then when you submit the picture of your fish, guys, it's got to be on a hawk trough with a bump plate, and then also you gotta specify the measurement you think it is that goes along with your photo. That's gonna help us out. And then yeah, that's kind of I think that's all of it, right? Yeah.
Yep, that's everything. I think we've covered every base in the Kidcaster tournament. Cool. Everybody should know exactly what to do come Saturday.
All right. Very cool. And if you have any questions before we start, guys, if you have any questions the day of or now that you come up with in a couple hours, put it in the comments in the Discord server. Cool. All right. So let's let's bring out Captain Dan, the infamous Captain Dan. Bring him on. So I'm gonna go to main screen for a second. Right here. Actually, no, not main screen for a second. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna switch over to that screen. Captain Dan, I hope you're ready. I'm gonna call you in a sec. Window. Sorry, guys. It's a new thing we're trying to do. Here we go. So get Captain Dan in here. See if all right, his phone should be ringing. Ciao, I hear him. Hello. Oh,
I'm here.
Fix it up. Yay!
Right. Let me turn the audio down so we don't have him back.
There he is.
All right, big question. 2 housekeeping things first. Thanks for having me. Is the background correct or incorrect?
It's inverted.
Oh,
It's
gosh.
Dan.
But
All right, we're going to lose it. I've tried for it several times. Okay, let's switch it. Hang on, we're going to switch it.
Wait, we can all read backwards. I can read that.
No. Okay. All right, this is a place. Okay, and then that takes care of that.
hang on. So you're not on screen yet, Captain Dan, but I'm gonna. I need to switch you over because you went off center for me. You were centered before.
There he is.
Right there you go.
That's fine. I thought I was going to be able to have the thing in the background.
Okay, I'm going to.
Are you at the beach, Dan? What are you doing?
Hold on, I'm gonna transition. Here we go.
You're at a sunny day at the beach, it looks like.
Yeah, I'll tell everyone in a sec here as soon as he puts it on screen.
You're on screen now.
I am. Okay, there it goes. Okay. So let me go. Let's see, which way do I need to go?
To your right. There you go.
Is that better?
Yep.
There we go.
Okay.
Okay. So look over my shoulder, right over there. I'd make a terrible weatherman. Anyway, I want to duck for a sec. You see that spot where there's no white water? All right. That is the secret of the not so secret spot. Yeah. I'm taking one more bit of liberty here. I'm going to play, the home version. The home version.
All right.
Oh, dang. Yeah, I need to get a CBS sponsorship. Shoot.
Hashtag, I paid full price.
Hang on. Sorry. Let's go back.
All right, here we go. Hang on. I got to see if I get this right.
Get it close to your mic.
Oh, what a dud. That's a zero.
Hey, Brian.
Holy.
Brian.
Brian, how did you extend that so long? It's like three pops.
Hey, Brian, your settings reset. You got dark.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
All right.
so I'll give you a second.
But let's continue on.
Anyway.
Continue on yourself for a minute.
Okay, cool. So the next topic, guys, is we're gonna talk about the CCA event, which is on the bay with CCA part 2 or the part 2.
Yeah.
And Arnie gave you a -5. Ouch.
You know what? I agree.
Salty gave you a participation trophy.
Well, you know what? Rookie.
What's up? Hold on. Chuck Fino, what up? Hey, Chuck, how's it going? Chuck has a question. He says, WTF, is my question invisible? I don't know, but since you came in here with the WTF, let's see. Oh, Valley High easier than SI launch north of boat launch, but Hill is a bear. Yeah, we're launching at the Shelter Island boat ramp. Shelter Island boat ramp. Actually, if you want to launch somewhere else, that's fine. You can launch somewhere else. Just be on the Discord server when we start, so you know when we start, and then submit your photo while the tournament is going, and then you'll be able to fish with us or participate. Okay. Just when we do the award ceremony or the awards on the water, make sure you can get to where we're at, so you can get your award if you win something. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Hey, Leonard, I did see your question. Not to cut you guys off, but go back on one question. He asked if we need to put in the picture our Kidcaster poll with our submitted picture. And we did that last time. It's tough. If you can do it, do it. But I mean, this is like a tournament of just honest fishermen. We're not going to regulate that. But hey, if you can do it, go for it. I say I'll try to put mine in there just so it's in there. But if you can't, I know it's tough to get that picture and that picture and everything in there. Not necessary, but get it in there if you can.
Cool. All right. So now we're going to talk about the CCA event. Yep. And the way you would go find the details and sign up for this is going to be on the CCA website. I'm going to put CCA
that would be CCA California.org. Then you go to the pull down on the calendar tab and scroll down from there, and you'll see a day on the bay with CCA. And it's that simple. Click on that. You'll see the entry, rules, all the information. November 21st, 7 till noon, and everything you need to know is right there.
Very good. Cool. Someone's saying that we're having an echo. Everybody's on their headphones? Yep. Weird. Okay, so is everybody getting echo?
I'm not.
I'm not.
I'm feeding the sound direct from my soundboard, so it should be okay. Okay, we're just gonna keep going.
Yeah.
Brian,
So Brian, you had some questions for me. I went through a lot of this on Monday, but I'm happy to go through and answer any other questions or specific questions or any of that type of stuff.
Yeah, great, Dan. The last tournament was largest bats. And I know you guys have changed it up, which I think is awesome. Instead of largest bass, what are we fishing for?
This time it's largest fish. But it excludes rays and sharks. And the prize, there's 3 divisions. There's kayaks, there's boats, and then there's like everything else. Float tubes, shore, pier, docks, shore pounder, whatever. There's a prize for the biggest fish overall. And then there's a prize for each of those 3 divisions I just mentioned. The biggest fish overall gets a TB Metal Art prize, a beautiful prize.
Wow.
Yeah.
Those are awesome, cool. Guys. So if you don't know TB Metal Art, there's my spotty back there. That was made by TB Metal Arts. He makes awesome, I guess you call it art.
Here we go. Here's Brian. Oh, wait. Here's Brian. Woo.
Right up there, that's a 20-inch spotty. Hopefully one day I can catch a spotty that size, but 20-inch spotty back there.
Here's my
yellowtail. I know Roman's got his yellowtail.
Oh, and the Mad Mac. The metal.
And the
metal
Mac.
That's
right.
Metal.
So if you win that, that's an awesome prize, guys. So awesome, Todd, for donating that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Roman, does that Mac behind you, does that have the secret code built into it? I can't tell from here.
It looks like it does. Yeah, it does.
Cool. Very cool. Let's see. A couple other things. The first 50 people who register will receive giveaways from Soft Steel, Fish Lab, One Cool Tuna, BD Outdoors, and some more and other things from 7 till noon. And I'll go over some of the things I did the other night. But the air fishing zone is from the Coronado Bridge out to the Zuniga Jetty. And for safety, I would, as a boat guy myself, I would recommend you kind of stay. You don't go around the corner, around the jetty. Stay inside the jetty. It just makes it easier for everybody. It's $25 to enter, and there will be 3 support boats. Wayne from CCA will have one. I'll have one, and someone else I forget. I think it's Steve Moat will have one, and we'll have some drinks and odds and ends on it. Cool. And let me go back to the prizes for just a sec. This is a little bonus prize, and this is only if someone from the MMFC gets the biggest fish. Ooh. Then there'll be a Captain Dan Extravaganza prize.
Ooh, nice.
I have no idea what it'll be. Hopefully, it'll be something more than just. I'm sorry. What's that?
Anybody watching Fishy Hour, right?
Yes.
Or is it MMFC?
Anyone watches Fishy Hour.
That's fun. That's so cool.
Yeah. And let's see, what else you have, Brian? One other thing.
Biggest fish. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, this is the latency of the signal here. Rain date, if the weather's bad or it's it gets called off for some reason, anybody that enters, they'll either get their money back or we will carry it over to another event. And it looks like we're having fun with these things. The Newport Beach guys haven't figured it out yet, but San Diego guys like doing this. So CCA will probably do, I don't know, 3 or 4 of them. We don't even know yet. In addition to everything that MMFC does, it's just you guys really like it, and we just want to have some fun with you guys. And besides, it's a good excuse for me to get my boat out off the trailer.
Nice.
So you say biggest fish. I'm assuming you mean overall length, not weight, right?
Length.
Okay. And is it artificial lures only, or are you allowed to use cut bait, live bait? What are the stipulations as far as what you can fish?
3 words: we don't care.
Nice.
Okay. All right,
we just want to see the fish. I don't care.
However we can catch it. All right.
Yeah, I don't think spearfishing is allowed.
Yeah, it's gotta be. It's catch and release, right?
Yeah. Catch and release.
Cool.
All right. I think that answers any of my questions. If I have any more, maybe I'll ask them next week. Roman, do you have anything for me?
Yeah, I just want to kind of run through the process really quick. I'm gonna go sign up. I go to the ccacalifornia.org website. Okay, I click on the shopping cart, on the shop.
No, go to a calendar.
Okay, click on the calendar. Then I can see the event that's scheduled. I click on that event. That brings up the sign up page. I sign up. I pay my $25, and then what? I get I just get the receipt, and I'm good to go. I'm signed up.
You'll get confirmation of your registration.
Very good.
Cool. From CCA. Yeah.
Okay, good. And that will include hopefully an email from Chris that will have the link to the CCA Discord server, because that's where you're gonna submit your fish like we do our tournaments. Well, TCA set up their own Discord server, so that's the one we're gonna use on that day to submit our fish. Okay. And the way you get that sign up, remember, if you want to sign up to a Discord server, you usually need an invite. So that's the way you're going to get the invite, I think. Okay. And same thing. We're going to submit our fish on the hog trough, mouth closed. Anything else we should highlight there?
Well, I think that's it. Unless you guys have some type of code you want, sometimes we'll write on our hand or write something that's in the picture. With a tournament with this many people, usually we have a code that's included in the picture. So maybe you guys, if you're going to do that, let us know next week, and we can plan for bringing out a Sharpie or whatever we need to do.
We could write it on our hand so we know you caught the fish that day.
I would just write. I would write.
Don't say it yet. Don't say it yet.
Don't say it now. Yeah, say it the morning of the event.
Yeah, we give it out the morning of the event in the Discord server, and then people can sign up, put that on their hand, and that way.
Got it.
Day of.
Yeah, it'll be simple.
Cool.
The other thing that all scores must be submitted between the hours of 7 and noon via the Discord mobile app, via the event thread. All valid submissions must have the fish in front of a clear measuring device. Acceptable measuring devices include hog troughs, CDFW measuring tape, cooler with measuring units, or a tape measure with clear units of measurement. The fish must have their mouth closed. I know the other night we talked about tails. I'm not going to go there. You guys can talk about that. Submit your picture and on the hashtag day in the bay with CCA thread, which you'll see. It'll be easy. Okay. And in the event of a tie, the submission that was received first via the Discord thread will be the winner.
I'm gonna ask this question now because you brought it up, and I was gonna avoid it, but now I want to, because if we're going for length of a fish, it's very likely that you might catch a barracuda, right? And a barracuda has a different style of tail. They got like a fork tail like this, right? Kind of like a mac. So, is a measurement at the fork or at the fin?
The fin.
The tip of the fin.
Okay, tip of the fin.
The fin.
Cool.
The tip of the fin.
All right. Another thing that might come up that I haven't thought about until just now is what if the barracuda or something or the fish measures more than the hog trough?
That's an awesome question.
That is a good question. So my advice would be for everyone, if you're that confident in your skills, bring a tape measure.
Boom. Yep.
Yeah.
Just put a tape measure.
Or put your hand on the edge of the hog trough and we'll count fingers, right?
Oh yeah.
Or find somebody or come over to one of the support boats and we'll measure it for you.
There you go.
Very. Another good point Arnie just brought up in the chat. He said, don't log your photo before 7 a.m.
That's right.
So if it starts at 7, don't be submitting photos at 7. Before 7.
Yeah.
And another good point to remind you guys about is, and I will remind you guys again next week, there's a strategy to this, like psyching people out and like not submitting your fish until the very end. You probably want to submit your fish right away, so that if somebody gets the same size fish, if somebody gets the same size fish, then you have an advantage because you submitted your fish first. Okay, so that's the tiebreaker.
Yeah, no hider seals don't count.
What about a seagull or a pelican?
Cal says, for our MMFC events, we don't condone or allow tail pinching. There is, however, no said rule in the CCA event. There's not a rule for it. So take that.
And the reason that is because we're not, this is not what we do for a living. We don't, this is just, we're just there to have fun. And, we're trying to not make it like, even though I got 2 pages of rules and stuff, we're just trying to, don't lose sight of the fact we're just out there to have fun.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's right.
So we're out there to have fun, but I still want to win. So Uh, so at this point, measuring the fish, how we measure it for our tournaments is at a disadvantage. Okay, so if you pinch the tail, if you want to pinch the tail, basically is what I'm saying.
I don't care. I just want to see a picture with a fish with its mouth closed and somewhere out there. And if it's that big, I'll have a tape measure on my boat and we'll figure it out.
Nice.
All right.
And I like the part about the seals. That's pretty funny.
I like the part about Hyder getting a medal. Hallie, what? Get that in metal? Like the Mad Mac? That'd be cool.
Yep.
That's funny. All right, cool.
Well, I think that's all I got. If there's any other questions, you can.
Capt, Dan, we want to invite you to hang out for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
You want to hang out for a little bit?
Sure, I'm here.
We got this sweet.
All right.
Well,
I didn't make this sweet layout for nothing.
I totally suck at opening cans of soda. I'm gonna have to practice this. That was even I'd give myself a -10 on that. It was horrible.
No way. Hey, I thought that was pretty good.
That's so funny.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I had a double
All
clutch.
right, so now that all right, Dan. So now I'm gonna dive into fishing your tournament. If you wanna sit in and listen and chime in on any of my advice. Okay, so now that he's laid down the grounds, obviously we're not gonna be fishing for spotties, guys, because you're not gonna win this thing with the spotty. So what are we gonna do as a group to win this CCA event? We've almost swept it last time. It'd be sweet if we swept it this time. We need to find a shore pounder because I'm gonna cover the boat. Hopefully we'll get a couple people else. Maybe John will come because I think we're the only two in the MFC that can cover the boat, and we got tons of kayaks. So we need a shore pounder or a float tuber.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, Brian. Are you going to be there? First you said you didn't think you were going to. Are you going to be there?
It's 50-50. So I'm gonna try to be there.
On the 21st. Okay, good.
Right.
I'll be there. I'm gonna be there, guys.
To go on a trip, but it might be canceled if we go purple. So it may be.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna sign up tonight. Did we cover what happens if it gets rained out?
Yes. If it gets rained out, they either will send a refund, or you can tell us to hold it over to the next CCA day on the Bay event. Either way, it doesn't matter to us. Either way.
Perfect. Zach, bat rays and sharks do not count for the CCA event, so don't worry about measuring it.
Okay, guys. So I know we've hammered tournaments tonight. We're already at an hour, and we haven't even talked about fishing. We've talked about tournaments all night. What is going on? Is this a fishing show or it's a tournament show? So
it's gonna be like
let's start talking about fishing. That's what we're all here, right? To learn some fishing things. So, okay, what I've got is the 5 fish that I think as a group we should probably try to target to win the CCA event. And me and Roman are going to discuss that we would catch these 5 fish that we think will win it. So first fish, this is like an oddball fish. It's going to be hard to find these. They're really rare. But if you can get one of these guys, can you see that, Roman?
I'm going to go full screen on you. I guess you're...
That right there is a Pacific needlefish.
Hold on a second. I missed that one. There we go.
It's a Pacific needlefish. They average 18 inches for the small ones, and they can get up to 30 inches. So these are pretty rare, but they exist in San Diego Bay. So if you could catch one of these, it's a super long, skinny fish. So if we're going for total length, this is one of the ones I would think about targeting. To target these guys, I don't catch a lot of these on artificial lures, but if you fly line a live bait, I know we're pretty much lure fishermen, but if you're fly lining live bait, which is basically just a line with a hook on it with a live bait swimming around the water, these will come up and get it, and this will get you a super long fish. As far as targeting with artificial lures, it's really like, I think you said you've caught one on a fast retrieve on the Ned rig.
Yep.
I've caught them on the jerk bait on like a fast retrieve. So it's any top water or anything coming off the bottom that's a fast retrieve. They're like a big reaction bite. So that's going to be rare and hard to catch, but that's one of the 5. Then another long fish that is in the bay, corvinas. We don't fish a lot of these, but they're out there. These, I think, are going to be more towards the south end of the bay, kind of the bridge area.
Yep.
So if you're planning on going over there, also a topwater fish. You want to talk about what you've targeted with these, or have you ever targeted these, Roman?
I've never targeted those specifically, but I have caught a couple, and it's always been when I mess up a Ned rig cast and I retrieve it really fast to cast again, I end up getting hit. So fast retrieve, close to the surface, near the surface. So I do like hard baits or jerk baits.
So I'm gonna recommend either you get these things on dart spins, believe it or not. If you're retrieving them in pretty fast, you keep them up near the surface. A dart spin, which is like a jig par, that's like Kruger's specialty. I like, of course, the jerk bait. That works good. That's a top water one, creates a lot of action. And even, we haven't caught it yet, but I'm waiting for somebody to hit the whopper plopper. Dan, have you ever fished a whopper plopper?
No.
Okay. If I see you out there, I'm going to try to get one of these to you on the boat, and I want to see you catch a fish while you're out there.
Nice.
Somebody's got to do it. I don't know who's done it yet, but somebody's got to catch a whopper plopper fish. And another one that works on those is a slow fall, retrieved in pretty quickly.
Oh yeah.
So it looks like a bait darting up, and you'll usually get it when it's in the mid water column. But dart. Those if you're gonna try to do a Corvina, but of course it's a live bait tournament, so live bait also. That's a fly line live bait. That's probably your best bet on a Corvina.
Very cool.
And me personally, I think this is the fish that's gonna win this derby because there's a lot of them out there. I know Muto was in a school of them. Had an incident with a seal. Is the Barracuda. So most of you guys, hey, why don't Muto? How did you catch these? If you want to share that, and Roman, you want to discuss the Barracuda, which I think is the fish that'll probably win this tournament. This is the fish I'm gonna probably be targeting.
Yeah, I'm gonna discuss that. I was kidding. No, I was kidding. Muto gave us the exact setup last time. I think it was like a SP minnow, jerk baits. And it's on the retrieve. You gotta have that pause, or like if you just do constant retrieve, it won't happen. You crank it and then you pause it and then you crank it and you pause it, and it usually hits you right after you pause and start cranking again. It'll slam it, and then you can pause it for like a couple seconds, maybe 10 seconds. It seems like a long time, but they're watching it. It's pretty cool.
And you want to try to mimic like a fish that's like struggling, I guess you would call it. Like it's coming in and all of a sudden it pauses, like, and then it takes off again. Like think of like a bait fish that's maybe struggling a little bit.
So if you're gonna be fishing those kind of baits, guys, I would recommend you either switch to single hooks or I mean, you should probably have us anyways. Pliers are a definite must, and then a rag, so you can not get all to be able to handle that thing. It's gonna be so slimy. Yeah, slime stick.
The best way I handle a Barracuda, well, we're gonna be measuring them, so you're gonna want to have a rag on you. But normally you grab this like treble hook. Like here's a jerkbait, guys. If you don't know what a jerkbait is, it's a long hard bait. It's got a short bill on the front, and it usually has 2 sets of hooks. This one's factory rigged. It's got 2 treble hooks on it. But I usually will grab that treble hook and just hold it over the boat and shake it off, and hopefully the Barracuda comes off, because usually those Barracudas, when they grab that treble hook, it's in their mouth, and it's sometimes it's super hard to get that thing out, and it's like a battle, a lot of shaking, a lot of twisting, and try to get that thing out.
That's awesome. Cool. All right. So what other fish do we have here like be in that class? I think that's it, right? That's probably going to be the go-to fish if you can find them.
Well, there's always this elusive fish.
Oh, it's true.
Which is a big fish, the halibut. If you get lucky enough to get a big halibut, I mean, this halibut right here was, I think, 38 inches. So believe it or not, those things could get it. And if somebody wins that, they deserve the win. If they can catch a 30-inch plus halibut, that should be bonus points in my world. But hey, if we're fishing live bait, some of those big ones don't grab the artificial so much. You know, you might get lucky on one on an A-rig. But if we're fishing live bait and you're soaking a live bait down there, right, Dan? Those things go for. Is that what you use, Dan, when you're fishing your halibuts? I know you got.
Absolutely. And by the way, I noticed that you gave away your secret spot in the background of that photo.
Nobody, zoom it in. I don't care. If you can. So many halibut been caught there. If you don't know that spot, you haven't been fishing. But look in the back. There's a big.
So
Dan,
with that, since
I've been rambling so much. Can you tell me your technique on how you catch halibuts?
Around here, it's kind of interesting. We just do the bounce ball thing. You know, that's pretty much what we do.
What is the bounce ball?
Well,
might not know.
Here's the deal. I don't do a lot of bay fishing, so I'm sure it's a little different. But we've done a couple of things. We try live bait. We try squid. You name it. We try it all around here. And there's been not one procedure that's worked well. The bounce thing is just, you've got the weight and you've got the hook and you kind of do your thing and move along. Actually, in all honesty, I do way better spear fishing with forms than I do catching them with line.
I knew it. I told Brian.
You knew I'd say that.
That's the best way to get them, right?
Like, that one.
All right. Yeah. Yeah.
So funny.
So that's pretty much about it. So I don't want to give any advice about fishing them in the bay because that's not something that I do.
Very cool. So and I appreciate that.
So which to me is like a Carolina rig with a live bait, and you're kind of just bouncing it around the bottom,
pretty much
spots.
Yeah,
For me, it's the A rig. I am a big believer in the A rig for halibut.
So I have a question. Since we still have Camp Dan on, would it be okay to how many rods can we fish? Basically, how many lines in the water can we have at once?
However many you want. It's
okay. So we're going with whatever the DFG, right? Cool.
Yeah, well, that's fresh. See, that's why I asked about that early, because I didn't know if inshore and in bay counted as saltwater or freshwater. Saltwater is not the limit.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I said. Like I said, I don't do much bay fishing.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So it counts. So basically, there's no restriction as far as the tournament goes. Just go by the reg. So the reg says you can fish multiple. You can basically have you could be bounce balling one rod and then fishing the A rig, casting and reeling as you drift. That's what I'm going to be doing.
Yeah. And you know what I would do? I would also go out there to sabiki rigs, guys, and see if you can get some nice, fresh live bait mackerels. And if you can get some of those are going to be like candy for the barracudas and maybe a halibut. So fish it like we're fishing La Jolla kind of, guys. Maybe go out there, and is it okay to catch bait before the tournament?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't see why not.
Yeah, is that fine? I mean, it's basically the same as buying bait.
Yeah,
so,
you're bringing your bait.
So
if you want to launch way early and try to make bait, good for you.
Yeah. What happens before 7 a.m. is not my problem, not my business.
All right. So I would recommend, if you have a sabiki, bring it out there. Maybe you can catch some live bait before or during, and use that, because that's rebait.
Do you want to do a double?
That's candy, dude.
Double.
You get that right size mackerel, and you're fly lining that while you're fishing your underspin. Oh, gold. That's what I'm gonna be trying to do.
Woo.
Okay,
man, I'm actually getting excited. So here's another point that I wanted to highlight. I know, Brian, it's on the list. I'm not sure if I'm out of turn here, but this is a completely different thing that we're used to doing. We're used to fishing for bay bass, catch release, artificials, maybe some scent on there. This is gonna challenge you. This is gonna make you grow as an angler. You got to learn new techniques. You have to do a little bit of research, ask some questions. It's fine, because that's kind of it's going to make you grow. And even though it's not what we usually do, your techniques as far as looking for current, looking for structure, that kind of stuff that you've been doing for bass is going to help you in this technique too. So also in bass, we kind of been fishing mostly on the bottom, right? This is a little bit different, because if you're targeting barracuda, they're not on the bottom, right? So you're going to be able to try different techniques, different lures. Okay, take it away.
I was super excited when Dan told me about this, because it's going to take. I mean, we pretty much primarily are bass fishermen, and that's what we've been doing. This is going to force us to fish a different species, because the spotty's not going to win this. So I was excited about this. So now we're going to try different lures, even mess around with live bait. But there's always this guy too. You can run it. This you never know. Because I think Salty said he caught a 20-incher. I think I've caught a 21-inch. So these can get big, but they're hard to get the big ones. Yeah. So you can try sand bass. That would be a fish I might try to target if all of a sudden nothing's working. I can't catch a halibut. I can't catch a cuda. There's no corvinas. That's a hard fish to catch. What am I going to do? I'm a bass fisherman. And if you have to fall back to your crutch fish, I would go back to sand bass if you know how to fish those. And try to get one of those guys. That would be like my second to last fish I would try for.
Very cool. Cool.
Do you agree with that concept?
Yeah, definitely. There's like a bell curve, right? There's definitely some big sand bass out there, but the bell curve of how many sand bass that size that can compete with the middle of the curve barracuda. Yeah. So
So Salty brought up in the text here, a smelt won the other category last CCA event. Wasn't that you, Roman? As I recall.
no, that was
Who was that? Who won that?
It was somebody in our group.
Salty won that.
Yeah, it was Salty. That's right. It was Salty.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
You won it with like a 14-inch lizard fish or something.
No, it was
smelt
a
or something
smelt.
really small.
It was a smelt. I think.
But there's no biggest other this time. It's just longest fish.
Yeah.
So,
That's it.
Yeah, we're
That's
good.
it.
That's so good.
And we can't forget this. This is one of the cousins of our favorite fish, the calico. So last time, this is the bass that won it, and we all know who won it last time. But I think this guy can get pretty big too. Average size in these, I would say, is between like 14 and 17. When you think that's a pretty average size for these guys, 14 to 17. So. Yep. Another fish, if you're not hitting the barracuda and you're not, and we didn't talk about bonitas either. They might still be out there too.
Yeah, those might be out there still. They were out there.
So calicos.
They were out there during our last derby. I got broken off twice by a bonito. I saw it at the boat and it took off and it broke on the kid caster. I re-rigged. Really? And I hooked up again and it broke me off again. So.
Well, by the way, Wayne from CCA is taking side bets on Roman winning again.
Oh no! This is different than what I'm used to fishing, so it's gonna be a challenge for me too. And
that's good.
Yeah. So I'm looking.
Hey Dan, he's gonna have a hard time winning this on the Ned rig. I'll tell you that.
I'm looking forward.
He might do it though.
I'm looking forward to somebody like. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try my hardest. So if anybody beats me, when somebody beats me, it's a legit they feel like I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm not gonna try. No, I'm gonna try my hardest. So if you beat me legit, that's good. Good for you. It's freaking awesome. Especially it's even better if it's somebody from our community. Somebody that's like learning. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the day. Let's go. Step it up.
Yeah. No, there will be other people. Right now I believe there's 14 people signed up. I don't know if it's how it breaks down to boats or beach or whatever. But I want to see all of us guys out there in force. Now, I will be fishing, but I will not be competing.
Okay, cool.
Okay,
very cool.
Awesome. You got to post your picture so we can see what you got, though, right?
Absolutely.
And our last, go ahead.
I just say lizard fish, whatever I can,
The ugliest fish category.
Yeah.
Last fish.
Go for it.
You guys have fished. It's getting near the end of the tournament. You got no picture. You want to at least get something, or you just can't seem to get a topwater fish. There's always our favorite fish. We can always catch that, and you never know. Maybe it's going to be a rough day of fishing, and there's going to be a lot of zeros out there. So it's better to have a fish than a skunk. So if you're going to go out there and you can't seem to get a corvina or you can't get a barracuda, hey, try to grab a spotty, because you never know what fish is going to win this. You could get lucky and get some kind of freakish 14 and a half, 16-inch spotty.
It's cooling down, and it's going to be like 10 days from now, right? Something like that, 10 days?
Yeah.
So it's very possible that the fishing gets even tougher. So
well, yeah, and you're right. I mean, there's been like the Bisbee tournaments down in Cabo.
Yep.
Something like a Dorado wins the $1 million prize is the only thing. I mean, stuff like that happens. So,
yeah.
All bets are off here. This is it could be anything.
That's right. I'm gonna get to my spot. I'm gonna throw a handful of Ned rigs out. And then I'm gonna cast.
You're gonna chomp Ned rigs?
Yeah.
Okay, so my secret weapon, I'm going to share it because this is me and Roman pretty much share everything. I want you guys to have one of these tied up, and it is my favorite for topwater in the bay, the crocodile lure.
Absolutely.
It's basically a spoon. Pick your color; they all work. But this guy right here is a simple thing to fish if you're not used to fishing jerk baits. Any of the kind of fancier baits, I guess you'd call them, the hard baits that you have to have techniques. This guy right here is one that you can literally cast a mile, and it's a medium retrieve, and it gets bit. So it's an easy thing to learn how to fish, and I think it'll tear up the barracuda. I think this will do really good. I've caught tons of barracuda on this. So if I'm going to give my pro tip, this is my lure. Get one on out there and throw it. If you're not getting any, keep throwing it. And every time you go to a new spot, maybe throw it 3 or 4 more times. And I think that I predict this lure is going to win the tournament. crocodile lure.
It's a quick lure to fish, so it's worth the try. You know.
Yeah.
And from you've jogged my ancient memory. I've used that exact same croc here at this not so secret spot with halibut and have done okay.
Wow.
All right. So there you go.
That's cool.
I agree with you, Dan. That's an oldie. I don't know what year they invented that thing. Maybe at the beginning of fishing, way back in prehistoric days. It's been around forever, but it still works. So I still like it, and I like it because of the ease of fishing it. I think anybody can cast and retrieve that thing. It's not, there's not twitching, there's not pausing, there's not, it's just a cast and retrieve. So simplicity seems to work a lot.
Yeah, even if you're a hack caster like I sometimes am, a croc really makes you look good.
Yeah, cast into the wind, with the wind, sideways, wherever. You can cast this in style.
That's so good.
Yep.
Very cool. Cool. All right, so are we good with all of the species that are those all the species that we're going to cover?
I think so, unless you can think of one. I think those are the ones that are primarily going to be targeted.
Yep.
And unless there's some questions in the chat, unfortunately, I wasn't reading through the chat while I was talking so much. But if there's any questions or if anybody has a question
we had
about
some stuff
targeting any of the species.
We had some stuff come through. Everything looks good. All right, so before we let Captain Dan go, guys, if you guys have any questions about the CCA on the Bay with CCA Part 2 tournament on the 21st, on the 21st, ask your questions now while he's on, and we can clarify for you. It'll help everybody else that might have the same question. So if not, I'm gonna give you guys like a minute or two, see if any more questions come through, and then we can let Captain Dan enjoy the rest of his evening, watch without having to interact. He's like, I just want to enjoy the show, guys.
Yeah. Also, just a couple of things. There will, if you can, please register by November 20th.
Oh, that's a good one.
If you can. Yeah, and that would be a real good thing if you could do that. And again, I don't know if I mentioned this, but winners will be announced on the CCA California Facebook page.
Okay.
At around 12:15. So there won't be any suspense and waiting or any of that. It'll be quick and dirty. Get it done.
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. I got one last. I don't know if this is the last question, but there's a question here, Dan from Salty. He says, "Can you cross the jetty at the breaks?" So I'm assuming he means go around the rocks.
Not
the other side.
He means not all the way out, but cross through the jetty. Like you won't be going all the way to the point.
Yeah. Fishing the jetty. Here's the thing. We're having fun. This is not a technical. It's not overly technical. Yeah. It's just like someone else asked earlier. Can I fish on the other side of the bridge? Yes. Okay. Yeah. You can just.
Oh, right.
But not 50 feet from the other side of the bridge.
Right.
No. You're right there. You want to be on the other side of the piling. My thing is that you should be able to touch it or maybe a double length, arm length from it. But other than that, no. Remember, we're trying not to get technical and crazy with this thing. We're just trying to have some fun.
Don't go offshore, guys. Don't go out there offshore.
Yeah, we'll do another one of those maybe at Mission Bay like we did the first one, where you can go, out all the way to the end of the jetty or something like that.
Very cool.
And then at some point,
I got an idea.
Yeah.
What about a La Jolla tournament CCA one day?
You just took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah, that's something that like I think Todd's brought up, and even Kevin Akata's brought up before too. So we will talk about that soon, Brian. Maybe let's make a note of that, and we'll talk about that soon. I just want to continue with the same tourney here, and just highlight that. I guess Captain Adoba's got a question too about. You're going to receive an email from Chris with the rules and a Discord link, so you can sign up for the CCA Discord server. So that's when you're going to submit your thing. And the big point with the CCA events, guys, this is a fundraising event, right? So have fun. And the whole point why I'm trying to promote this is to help CCA in the cause, and their cause is to protect our fishing rights. So it's a fun way to support CCA, and the point here is not necessarily to win a tournament or whatever. It's to support and have some fun and be part of the community, I guess, right? So anything you want to add to that?
That's what it is. Yeah, get more people. Just get people to participate and fish, and those that they may be hesitant about fishing by themselves or something. Just come out with us. Have some fun. We're just we're not, as you can tell, I'm not the most serious guy on earth. And I mean we have some serious issues that we try to deal with. But bottom line is we're just trying to make sure that that your kids and your grandkids can do what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
Very good. Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. So Captain Dan, thank you so much for joining us today and for clearing that stuff up for us. Cool. So I'm gonna remove you from the call. But thanks so much.
I'm gonna hang up on myself. It's even better. I'm gonna hang up on myself. Watch this.
Later, Dan.
Later, Captain Dan. Thank you. Very cool. That was awesome. So as you can see, guys, the technology is strong with this one. So we're having some fun here. I'm doing some more upgrades to the stream, and we'll be doing more upgrades coming up. Now that I have figured out how to do this type of setup, it kind of opens it up to do more creative things. And so, yeah, just look for some more stuff coming down the line. If you guys enjoy the stream, we're not signing off yet, but if you guys enjoy the stream, please hit that like button so that YouTube knows that you guys are enjoying it and it does the whole algorithm thing. Also, the point that we're trying to get to, the thing that I want to highlight the most at this point, again, I know I talked about it at the beginning, is the subscriber count on this specific channel. We need the subscriber count on this channel to go up to 1,000 so we can stream live from the kayak from this channel and we don't have to use Twitch as much. Okay. I'll probably still continue to use Twitch maybe on Saturdays, but I would prefer to stick to just the Fishy Hour stuff on Tuesdays on this channel. So the way we get there is to get this channel to 1,000 subscribers. So do me a favor, share the stream with a friend that's into fishing and that would enjoy the stuff that we're doing. Little derbies, weekend kayaking outings or kayak fishing outings. If you don't have a kayak, float tube, whatever, you have a boat, join us. That's fine. Brian comes out with us and he's on his boat and it's super fun. And then basically you know what we do in the community. So you tell them, hey, this is what we do. We do tournaments. We do social distance. We talk about fishing Mondays and Wednesdays, and we watch Roman fish on Tuesdays. If you're not into that, that's cool. But the whole point is all of this production is with the mindset of creating a positive fishing community with openness to help beginners. So that's a big push. So anyway, anything you want to add to that, Brian?
No, I think you covered all.
All right, cool.
I'm on board. It's a family show, so you don't have to be afraid to
watch
your
it with your
mom
kids.
watch it,
Yeah.
or watch it with your mom or your kids.
Hi,
so
Mom.
Exactly. So yeah, no, I mean, me and Roman and everybody that comes on the show and everybody in chat, we're all about teaching ethics about fishing, I guess you would call it.
Yep.
Plus, we're trying to build our knowledge together. I think, like we mentioned last show, over the past few months,
Yeah,
we've all
that's true.
kind of taught each other a lot of stuff. I've learned a lot. I'm sure you've learned a lot, and it seems like everybody that's been sharing their knowledge is learning at the same time. So we're learning as a community, and I think that's a cool thing.
Very cool. One other thing I wanted to add is if you're watching this as a replay and you, for whatever reason, you can't watch it live, we still know you're out there watching. So thank you. We appreciate you watching. Again, if you want to leave comments for us, I know I saw a comment from Hyder the other day when I prompted people to leave comments. So thanks for the comment, Hyder. If you don't get a chance to watch this live and you want to ask a question, doesn't matter if it's a topic we covered in a previous episode, we will come back to those questions and answer them live. And get the conversation going with those questions, and then you come back, and when you watch a replay, we might be answering your questions. So please do leave a question in the comments if you have a question about bait fishing, about our events, about our get-togethers, about anything that has to do with fishing. It's all fair game. You're not going to get misleading information. If we don't know the answer to something, we're just going to say, sorry, we don't know. But between all of these people here and Brian and I, we pretty much got you covered. So feel free to ask any questions.
Yep.
Cool. Awesome.
Yes, I love the comments. Hopefully that'll start an influx of questions, because me and Roman prefer to answer questions instead of me, like I say, rambling all the time. I prefer to field questions and answer questions and comments. If you put a good question in that comment, me and Roman read all the comments. We'll definitely try to get to it on the following show. So use the comments, guys.
Very cool.
All right. So I guess we talked so much about tournaments and everything. We didn't get a lot about fishing. So last It's okay if we go a little bit longer, about another 6 to 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Think that's good?
Rock and roll.
Okay. So, yeah. So, I mean, we didn't get to talk a lot about fishing. Tonight was a lot of tournament talk. So, a question I was asked, I think on the water maybe 2 weeks ago is, hey, I have a crankbait and I don't know how deep this thing dives. Well, I think it might have been Jesse maybe that asked me that question. I could be wrong on that.
Yep.
But so you got a crankbait, you don't have the box, no writing on it, you can't figure out what it is. So we're going to try to break down crankbaits real quick and figure out what the diving depths are on them, and I'll give you a few tips on how to keep track of it too. So there's a couple different types of crankbaits. Give me a second, guys. Here's my case. I'm pulling a few out.
Oh, hey, William, welcome to the show. William Rainey is I don't recognize the name, but welcome. I hope you're enjoying the show so far. Feel free to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Woo!
William, if you want to contribute to the crankbait topic, type on in there and let us know.
Yep, any questions are good.
A question about it.
So go ahead and talk.
So, okay.
Go ahead.
So
Sorry.
the crankbait, if you don't know, is a hard bait. Looks like this. And these are usually rigged up with 2 treble hooks from the factory. A lot of us will rig it up with a single hook just to be a little easier on the fish, and also makes it a little more weedless and doesn't get caught on the rocks so much. So a lot of guys will rig these up with single hooks. But if you look, what makes the crankbait kind of the crankbait is this lip on the front. And it looks like, hopefully that's coming across kind of clear, Roman. You see that?
Yep.
Right about
Looks
there?
good.
Okay. So it's this plastic lip right here on the front. And that is actually what is going to control the depth of how this dives. And when I say depth, some of these will dive 2 to 5 feet, some 10 to 12, some all the way to 20 to 25 feet.
Yep.
And what you're going to notice about this specific one is the bill on it is square. Hopefully you can see that. It's squared off and it's kind of short.
Yep.
When you see a crankbait that looks like this is a shallow diving crankbait. Usually when you see this square bill like this, it's probably going to be a 2 to 6 foot depth. Now, the big difference between this and the next step up, if you look at the bill, it looks very similar to the bait, but the big difference is you look at the bill of this and it's got a big rounded one, and it's probably twice the length.
So I want to add.
This is going to be a deeper. Yep, go ahead.
I want to add a little bit to what you're saying. It's perfect, your explanation. So can you hold the square bill and that one that's up at the same time?
Yep.
So the bill is creating resistance against the water, okay? The more resistance against the water, the harder the water can push against it. So the deeper it'll swim at, okay? So that's as far as like surface area on top of the bill. The more surface area you have on top of the bill, the deeper it's going to swim, right? Is that good? And then
you got it.
The shape of the bill is going to affect how it deflects off of structure, okay? So I think the square bill is more erratic, right?
It gets a little different shape than the square bill, but mainly it's for the depth of it.
Yep. Very cool. Cool. So I just want to make sure that that's why some bills are longer than the others. It's how much surface area do you want to give it for the water to be able to push down against? Go ahead.
Yep. And then when you get to the deep diving, I would say this one right here, it actually probably has it written on here, is like a 10-foot depth. That means it's going to dive about 10 feet. And then you get even a deeper bill. You can see the difference. This is also the bill. This is a bill. And see how this one is a lot longer. This is a 12 to 15 feet. Yep. So it's longer bill.
And wider.
And the baits basically look the same until you look at the bill. I mean, they're a little different shape, but they're basically the same. But it's the difference in depth is the difference in that bill. Mm-hmm. And then they also have, see if I have my deep diver. This one's a little bigger. This is the biggest one I got, and this one can go 25 feet deep. So here is 10 to 12, and there's 25, and you can see the difference. This one actually has a weight to bring that nose of the bill down too, so it gets it to that deep
better
depth.
Angle. Yeah.
So that's what you're going to be looking for. So when you pull these out over time, you're going to start realizing, hey, just by looking at this bill, you can kind of judge how deep it is. Now, if you're really lucky, on the bottom of some of these, they'll actually tell you the depth. Not all of them, but some of them. I don't know if you can see that. Hopefully you can. But it actually says 25 feet.
The other thing on that specific point, when the lure has like a 25 feet rating or whatever rating it has on the box, I would subtract at least 2 or 3 feet, depending, like a ratio, right? Maybe 20%, 15%, because because these ratings are usually coming because of fresh water, and fresh water is less buoyant than salt water. So your stuff will float quick. You'll have more float, more buoyancy in salt water. So these lures that are rated for 15 feet in fresh water might only go to like 13 or 10 feet in salt water. Yeah. Also, line size plays a role, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of different factors on how these things go. But mainly what I'm trying to get is how that when you're pulling crankbaits out of your tackle box and you have no clue, this is kind of a good way to gauge them. Now, a tip that I can give you is when you buy these things brand new, what I actually do is I'd use a really fine point Sharpie and I'll write right on it. That's a 10 to 12. Cool. So right under the nose here, you can see all mine. Right when I get them brand new, I write that right on there just so it's a good reference. I always have it, and that tends to stay on there pretty good. You might have to remark it every once in a while, but when you get them brand new, if you don't memorize what their depths are, just take a fine tip Sharpie and write it right on there. It's not going to scare the fish away, I guarantee it. So that's how you tell, or a basic knowledge of different depths of crankbaits.
Very cool.
So hopefully that answers that question, Jesse.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. And then I'm just going to add one more thing. I briefly mentioned the line has to do with it, and I just want to clarify that a little bit. So if the width and length of your bill affect how much water pressure is pushing down because of the angle, right? You're pulling it, the water's pushing down this way. So the diameter of your line is giving you lift, okay? Because your line stretched out over a distance. If it's a thicker line, then there's more of it for the water to push up against, okay? So the thinner line is giving you less resistance. It's giving you less lift and lets your crankbait go deeper. Okay, so I'm not talking like 20 feet difference. I'm talking like maybe 1 or 2 feet. Okay, over the length of the line, less lift going up because your line is thinner. Okay.
Yeah, and I think we don't have time tonight, but I think one night we might dedicate a show or at least a segment on how to fish these things. Setups. I don't think we ever have. Think about it. Setups, how to fish them, kind of just Q&A about it, and also people that could give suggestions. I know a lot of those guys out there are better crankbait fishermen than me, so maybe they could give some suggestions on that lure also. So does anybody have any questions about the crankbait or any comments about the crankbait before we wrap this up?
I think the crankbait discussion is good. We think we're good on that, but there is an interesting side discussion going on started by Zach's question. What are your favorite gloves for fishing at night or when it's cold? Something strong and maybe waterproof. So I was asking myself that question last night. I was fishing with my, I don't know, they're kind of like shipping gloves, I guess you could say, like the little dexterity gloves. They're like rubber dipped cloth gloves for handling lobster. But they were dry and they were warm, so I was wearing them to stay warm last night. So I'm thinking if there was a version of that was waterproof but that thin, so you still have a little bit of dexterity, that'd be kind of cool. I'm in the market for something like that too. I know Salty doesn't fish with the gloves.
I don't fish with gloves either. I never have, so I have no advice on that. But I'm sure you could Google it and find fishing gloves out there. But I live in San Diego. How often does it get cold? I'm usually not out there at night either.
Night mission. Yeah, night session was got like 51 last night. It was pretty cold.
Holy mackerel! Yeah. Maybe you could get like a radiant propane heater and put it on the front of your kayak and just put your hands out in front of that. That's what I'm gonna.
Roman, angle, surface area, and depth. Those are the main factors that, other than line diameter and weight of the lure. Yep, perfect. Thanks, Coach. Let's see. Coach. Very cool. All right. So I think today was a pretty fun episode. What do you think? Any
Well, it's about to get funner because here we go, guys.
Hold on, let me switch it over. Ready? Let me go to myself
Yep.
first. Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready. Switch it over.
All right, here we go.
Okay, guys, if you don't watch a show every week, I like to suggest a movie, one comedy, one science fiction movie. I don't know why. This is a variety show, and I like movies. And they're always, me and Roman both like movies from the 80s and 90s, so I'm going to recommend one comedy from the 90s, which is, I love this movie, Roman. I'm sure you've seen this movie. What About Bob?
Oh, yeah.
Starring Bill Murray.
That's a good one.
It's like a classic comedy. If you haven't seen this, you got to see it. It's Bill Murray at his best. It's What About Bob? It's from 1991. I'm giving this. I really like it. I'm gonna go 3.5 out of 5 max on this thing. Go see What About Bob.
3.5 max. Very nice.
It's one of those movies that you watch and there's like so many good quotes in it, and it's just comedy. So What About Bob is my comedy. And I know you've seen this, Roman, because if you've seen Bloodsport, this like to me is right up there with that, and it's probably been mentioned before. It's from 1986, which was an awesome year for movies. Now, 85 and 86, for some reason, for me, are like the pinnacle years of movies. That's when like I don't know, if you go back to 80s movies, those 2 years, it's like when the best movies came out, and this is one of them. Big Trouble, Little China.
Oh, yeah.
And this stars.
I remember that one.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of holds up. I mean, don't go and expecting to see some kind of epic, novel movie. This is an 80s movie with karate, and it's to me, it's also a comedy. Just because I hope is that coming across.
Yeah, I can see it.
Big Trouble, Little China, 1986, starring Kurt Russell. I'm gonna give it 3 out of 5 max.
Wow, nice.
Go check that one
Nice.
out. You should have already seen that, though. If you haven't seen that, shame on you. That's a standard movie everybody should have seen.
That's funny. All right, we're back to the split screen. Cool. So let's see. All right, do you have any parting words before you sign off?
Of course I do. So I will see you guys out on the water for the Kid Caster tournament. That's going to be so much fun. Remember, this is about having fun. Don't get frustrated with it. Out there and have fun. It's going to be tough with this 8-foot tide swing. Good luck, guys. And I'm going to get out there and snag some grass, catch some bass. So see you guys Saturday.
Very
Later.
cool. Awesome. All right. Very cool. So I want to thank Brian, of course, for taking the time to prep for the show and make this show as entertaining as it was. And of course, Captain Dan for jumping on here and helping us host the show for a little bit and going and answering our questions. So thanks, Captain Dan, for doing that. And for the time it took to prep before the show, for making the time to jump on with us on Skype and figure out the whole scene stuff. So I appreciate that, guys. Thanks so much. And let's kick off the music and start to close this show out. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. If you did, give this show a like before you head out. And the next time I'll see you will be on maybe a Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. I'll probably see you in person. I'm not gonna live stream the event on Saturday because I want to focus on fishing. Maybe I'll live stream after. I'll bring my stuff with me to the live stream. But if I want to give this a serious shot. I'm gonna fish hard. So if you beat me legit, and you got me at 100%. So I want you to beat me at 100%. Again, that's like sounds cocky. I'm not anticipating a win, but I'm just saying I'm gonna fish my hardest. Okay. And then yeah. The last thing you could do is to share the show, guys. We're putting in the effort on our end. We're putting in the effort to bring up the quality, to keep it entertaining, to keep it going. I feel myself becoming a better host. I see Brian making improvements. We're working on his lighting every session. We're working on his setup every session. And I feel like we're putting in the work on our side. So do me a favor. Just return a little bit of that work. Share the show with a friend, okay? Somebody that you know is into fishing already, and maybe they're getting into fishing, they're struggling with it. They should be part of our community because this is the best place for you to learn. This is the best place for you to get better. I don't think there's any other streamer or anybody else on YouTube doing something like this that's so like just giving, okay? So that said, hope you guys enjoyed the show. Happy Veterans Day if you served. Again, thank you so much for your service. And yeah, hope you guys enjoy the show. We're gonna close this baby out. So thanks again, guys. Just some quick shout outs as we go. William, thanks for jumping on. First time viewer, I think. Coach Worf, Captain Dan, again, Zach, Hyder, Salty, BDG, Leonard, Arnie, Eric, the show that never ends here, Cal. All right, I'm just gonna close Oscar. All right, I'm closing the show out. All right, I'll see you guys maybe on Saturday. If not, I'll stream sometime before then. Okay. Good night, guys. Thanks again for watching.